It's Jazz going to be able to answer some questions on their schedule and quarterback questions, namely Deshaun Watson, Houston Texan for now, in what could be one of the great off seasons in quarterback history. So we welcome back Jeff Darlington to sort through some of these questions. Darlington, there are so many marquee quarterbacks we've been talking about lately. Deshaun Watson, one of the biggest ones. Over the weekend, there was a photo that posted by Watson's marketing agent of him in Miami with some players of the Dolphins, some of which were former Clemson teammates. Right or wrong, we're using social media to decode things. What should we make of this?
All right, a couple things here. The first of which, I love the idea of the conversation that happened right before that picture was taken, which was probably something to the effect of, if we take this picture, it'll probably be on SportsCenter. And here we are talking about it on SportsCenter because, quite honestly, the marketing guy put it out there. We know that nothing would be imminent. Marketing guys don't do things like that if deals are in the works. But we can still read into the fact that, look, Deshaun Watson continues to really flirt with the idea of being elsewhere. This is not something where he's saying, I'm going to wind up back with the Texans. He fully believes that he'll wind up with another team. That's what he wants. Whether it is the Miami Dolphins or not, we can tell you that Deshaun Watson will have at least some say. There is a no-trade clause in his contract. So if the team does eventually get compensation that would allow them to send him off, it will have to be a team that Watson says okay with. Miami Dolphins certainly feel like one of those, Matt.
Yeah, and by the way, when you play in the NFL and you played at a major university like Clemson, you're going to have former teammates that play in other cities that you're going to want to go visit. We're going to be doing this for a while until all of these deals commence. Again, Schefter putting the over-under at 18. It'll be fun to watch. Jeff Darlington with us with the latest on SportsCenter. Jeff, thank you. Sage?
You know, Matt, I think you agree. Sometimes everybody can use a change of scenery. Okay, this music is phenomenal.
I don't get it. What do you mean?
We all know Deshaun is looking to get out of Houston and start over, right? So on ESPN.com right now, you like how it went from snow to the Pacific Ocean there. Our NFL Nation reporters go through all 32 teams and focus on one player on each team who could use a fresh start. Here are a few interesting names from that article. People who could use a change of scenery. Starting in Vegas, Derek Carr holds the Raiders franchise records for passing yards and touchdowns, but has made the playoffs just once in 7 seasons, and he missed the game with an injury. After leading all players in scrimmage yards this postseason, would Leonard Fournette be comfortable splitting carries for another run in Tampa? Or is it time to cash in and take over as a lead back somewhere else? It does sound like the Love Boat, yes. And the injury guarantee in OBJ's contract will likely prevent a move this offseason, but he has yet to click with Baker Mayfield, catching an average of 2.5 less catches per game in Cleveland than New York. Are we determining, yes, that was like a love boat?
Spears would crush it on the Love Boat.
The visual of Spears on the Love Boat. We can't. Let's bring in our analyst once again, Jeff Saturday and Marcus Spears.
Saturday would be a bellhop.
Odell Beckham Jr., recovering from a torn ACL, suffered back in late October. I'm trying. 3 years left on his deal, Jeff. Do you think OBJ is better off somewhere else? If so, where? Or does he stay in Cleveland?
I do. And listen, I think part of the reason is because of what Stefanski in Cleveland wants to do. I don't necessarily think it's an indictment on OBJ, but this offense is going to run through Chubb and Hunt. And they've made no secret about how they're going to run it. And so with Landry already being there, being a one, you have Njoku, you have Hooper at tight end. You only have so many touches to go around, and if OBJ's not going to be content with getting the 4 a game or 5 a game or whatever it is, I think it would be a nice time for a change. Listen, we talked about it this morning, potentially being in a place like Tampa Bay, right? If they could make the things work, if Godwin leaves Tampa Bay. Why would I say that? Because Brady has been the wide receiver whisperer, whether it was Antonio Brown coming in midseason this year, whether it was Randy Moss years ago in New England, you name it. Think about all the different guys he's brought in, even Fournette at a different position, how he collectively brings everybody kind of into the fold, and they all become role players that understanding winning is the most important. I think he needs to go to a place like that to get his career back and really chase a ring, which I think ultimately he wants to do as well.
I'm with you, Jeff. He has 3 years, $45 million. So that's not going to break the bank for a team that can pick up that contract. And the reason we landed on Tampa is because Godwin is going to get paid like a number one receiver. And I'm not sure if Tampa can do that and Shaq Barrett and Levante David. And here's the thing about OBJ, too.
That's right.
Because people will talk about the touches and all of the stars they have in Tampa. Bottom line is Bruce Arians wants to go downfield. And OBJ is one of the better wide receivers in the league when you talk about being explosive, either with short, quick passing game, or if you want to just create opportunities for him to take the top off of a defense. But I believe this is a move that is going to be explored. We know that there's a relationship there with Tom Brady and OBJ as well. And then you think about Tom Brady's history and his MO. It's bringing in big-time wide receivers. And I'm not going to say resurrecting their career, but just giving them an opportunity to once again remind people of why they are thought of that way. So I think that's a good landing spot. And I also believe that Cleveland as a whole, when you talk about their offense and what Jeff alluded to with the run game, is better suited to have a Jarvis Landry as their one, a big-time possession guy, a guy that can win one-on-ones, very difficult to guard when you have a formidable running game going. So they already have that piece. OBJ will be well suited in Tampa, along with some other places. But let's do Tampa right now for wishful thinking, because we know him and Brady want to do it together at some point.
Yeah, plus the Browns make the playoffs for the first time in 8 years without OBJ, so they've got that going for them. And I want to switch gears now to another player that maybe a change of scenery might work. Derek Carr and the Raiders. They've only made the playoffs once in his 7 seasons there. For me, I think of a guy like Ryan Tannehill, who didn't do much in Miami, but now you see what he's done in a change of scenery. So, Saturday, starting with you, what's your take on maybe if Carr needs that change of scenery?
Absolutely. Listen, he is probably one of the most disrespected quarterbacks in the NFL, and it amazes me. Like, if you think about the Raiders this year, they were, 6-2 or 6-3 right before they had, and they rolled up. This was a defensive type deal that just tanked. I mean, ultimately, the coordinator loses his job, but Derek Carr continues to produce. I think he had a completion rate of over 70%. Again, one of the top QBRs in the league. He produces. How about if you put him in a place like San Francisco? Like think about the type of teams you could go to right now. The Indianapolis Colts. I mean, the Bears, like anywhere you put him, I feel like that guy is an upgrade. And we never talk about Derek Carr. And the problem with the Las Vegas Raiders is it feels like Gruden's always looking for the next guy. He's not content with Carr being his guy or Mayock. Yeah, nobody's coming out and saying, hey, man, this is our guy that we're building it around. I think that change of scenery where somebody is saying, we are committed to you doing this. We understand how valuable you are. We're going to ride this franchise with you. This is what our plan is. At this point, it's like he's always looking behind him, which shocks me as well as he has played and as good a job as he's done managing the noise and the distractions that always come for quarterbacks in our game.
I'm 100% with you, Jeff. You think about what Derek Carr did, and I'm gonna tell you one of the things that I enjoyed more than anything this season was the fact that no fans were there, and you could hear these quarterbacks and their command and the way they get their guys going. Yes. And Derek Carr was one of the most impressive ones to me at the line of scrimmage, determining things, putting his team in the right situation. Defense was the issue in Oakland. In Las Vegas. It was not Derek Carr. Derek Carr would be a hot commodity if the Raiders just decided we gonna put him up for trade or we'll let somebody else get him.
That's right.
I thought it was interesting what Jeff just said with Chicago. Chicago would be a place that would be definitely in the game for Derek Carr. I don't understand the disrespect. I really don't. Because when you look at quarterbacks, you can definitively tell when guys are bad, when they're average, or when they're good. Derek Carr is good. He's a good quarterback.
Yes, sir.
And can do a lot of things that a lot of teams need him to do in order to be in a good situation to win football games. So I believe a change of scenery would be good for him. But I also think Derek Carr, to Jeff's point earlier, gets highly disrespected as a guy that we think can just throw around. This guy can play the position at a very high level.
Absolutely.
And can also put a team in a situation to win games. So I hadn't understood it for a while with Derek Carr based on what I've watched him do on film.
Could you imagine the cannonballs Marcus Spears would do on a cruise ship?
Oh, amazing. I thought we had a graphic up. I thought we had a graphic up.
Shocked the world.
We were just... We're just playing you off with some
Me
nice.
and Jeff Saturday.
Yeah.
Me and Jeff Saturday cannonballing into a pool is a bit different now because Jeff lost the person after he retired from the NFL.
He did.
When I jump in, the water still escapes. There's not enough room for swagoo and water in a swimming pool.
Our 2 pina coladas, Jeff Saturday, Marcus Spears, thank you.
Yes.